2024, big year. Obviously, from a Fox perspective, with Copa America and the Euros this summer, but I think also for a U.S. men's national team perspective, we're going to see them in the Copa America. What do you, and if you look into Mo's crystal ball, what's the ideal for this U.S. men's national team coming out of the Copa America this summer for Gregg Berhalter and this group now that is 2 years older from when we saw them in Qatar in the World Cup?
Result-wise or just
in general? I mean, it might even be a feel. It might even have nothing to do necessarily specifically with results, but a feel. What does that look like? Because I think everybody's waiting for this moment or this positive feeling for us to believe that it's heading in the right direction. Well, how does that manifest? What does it look like?
I think Copa America is the perfect stage for this moment that we're trying to describe to happen, because for so long we'd always compare the U.S. men's national team to Mexico. And how do we stack up against Mexico? That was an indication of, are we trending upwards or are we trending downwards? We've surpassed Mexico. In this current state, this current team, this current Mexican roster that they have right now, we're past them. So the biggest test for us now is Copa America. I think we look at Nations League, we won that twice now, and that's great. That's a step in the right direction. But I think since the World Cup, Copa America has been the one tournament that we've been anticipating, because we're going to get a chance to play. Now we have the groups have been laid out. We're going to play against Uruguay, right, in our group stage. I think that's going to be a great matchup. Uruguay is their second right now, I think, in qualifying in Common Bowl. They have a lot of young players that are doing well, that are having success. So the best case scenario for me would be us winning the tournament.
Sure.
Would be us playing Argentina and Miami in the final. But ultimately, I want to walk away from this tournament saying this group of players collectively know how to win a big game. They did well. I would say they did well in the World Cup, getting out of the group, but then they came up against a Netherlands team that I thought they could beat. Didn't happen for them. But from that loss, you gain that experience of playing on a big stage against a quality opponent. Now they're getting a chance to face some more quality opponents, and I hope that we walk away from this tournament saying that, one, Gregg Berhalter has molded this team into a team that identity gets thrown out there a lot, but more so, I just want to believe that this team can go up against anyone and feel comfortable that they can win that game.
A lot of people, including Alexi, think that Berhalter needs a deep run this summer to validate the decision to bring him back as coach. If the U.S. were to go out early, that Berhalter could actually be in some trouble. Is that your sense? Do you think that's sort of a make-or-break tournament for Gregg Berhalter?
It's the biggest test before the World Cup, isn't it? And there has to be pressure on everyone and for us to have success. From the player standpoint, if you come into a camp, you don't do well, there should be pressure on you that then if you do get brought into another camp, that pressure is amplified. Or what you're doing at your club team, that should matter in terms of whether or not you get called in a camp. Gregg has to be assessed as well, right? And I don't think that they made the hire with the thought that they're planning to drop him. But I think if we don't get out of the group stage and it's a disastrous performance and we just look like we're completely out of sorts, the pressure is ramped up. I do think that the Federation hired Gregg with the mindset that, one, the players wanted him back. The Federation felt comfortable, and they were pleased with what he did during the World Cup in 22. So I do think that there should be pressure. And I think barring some kind of incredible disaster, Gregg will be leading this team in the World Cup.
I think we probably agree on this. This is a big summer for the U.S. team. The first 4 years with Gregg, lots and lots of young players, new players developing. And we talked a lot in Qatar about, at the time it was, should Gregg stay, should Gregg go? And I said at the time, I think Gregg should stay. I think this team needs continuity and then keep building. Now they've had time to stay together. They know each other. When every one of those guys comes into camp now, they know the expectations. They know the way Gregg wants to play. And now you got to put it on the field and do it. And there's only so many opportunities before 2026 to play in real games. No qualifying. So this is really it. This is really it. And we need to see really good performances, and it's going to be against really good teams. Results you can't always control, right? Things happen, but you should be able to look at it, feel it, sense it, and go, oh, that team's ready for 2026.
And it's better. It's improved. All these,
that's right.
Because you were talking about the young players that they had. Some of these players were teenagers, and as you know, maybe better than anybody, you were a very different player and person as a teenager
course.
than you are even 4 years later. And so they will have matured both in terms of their play and just in terms of who they are as people, and that can manifest on the field.
But you know what the key is, Lex, is they are maturing together. So I'll give you, I don't know your trajectory with World Cups and what the roster makeup was, but for me in 2002, it was me and DeMarcus,
Right.
young kids. Everyone else was a senior player. Fast forward to 2006, we were kind of quote-unquote veterans. There were some guys still left over, but we were some of the older guys, and we weren't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that, and we suffered because of it. In 2010, we had a really veteran team across the board. A lot of us had grown up together. So the key is that this team is growing up together. Christian's grown up with Gio, with Weah, with Eunice, with all these guys are Weston. They're all growing up together, minus just a couple, Tim Ream maybe and a few others. But most of them have played together, and now they're mature together. And I think that's a huge advantage.
I'm pleased for Gregg, obviously, to be back in charge of the program going forward. I think it's the right move, me personally. I like to see him come of age now. I think there's been a lot about this potential. I've been here 16 years now, and this group of talented young players that we've got, and we see it every season, every week. They're playing in Champions League football, playing for some of the biggest clubs in the world. Well, if you're doing that, it comes with responsibility. And I think we now come to a stage where you've got to start winning games that you're supposed to win. You've got to get to quarterfinals. You've got to get to possibly semi-finals of major tournaments. I'm not talking about World Cups, but I'm definitely talking about something that could Copa America on your home soil, with time to prepare, with the MLS the way it's going. So there's so many things, particularly in recent years, 3 or 4 years, where we're making great strides in the direction of the national team going forward. Now they've got a long way to go where you guys was doing it, and it was the games was coming thick and fast, and the likes of yourself, and I know you've just had Brad Friedel on as well. That type of responsibility, they've got to embrace that. They've got to want to be involved. That Weston McKennie needs to step up. Christian needs now to be the real leader that we hope is. Timothy Weah, I'm excited about him. I think he's one of these players that can go to that next level. So I think there's a lot of excitement about this team. There's a lot of belief. There's a lot of positivity. But now it's about delivering. I think it's that time now.
A fully firing, which is awesome to see, because I was getting worried a little bit with Wes McKennie. I know when I was at Fox, I think we spoke about what Wes was with me with the U19s, and probably spoke about a few times how good he is. He, for me, is our most important player, because he can be a very influential box-to-box player. Christian's outstanding. We know that he can score goals. The continuity along the back line worries me a little bit at this moment in time. That we have enough time to, and Gregg has enough time to correct it before 2026. But by the Copa America, it'll be hard tests. So it'll be
Months
exciting.
from now.
Yeah. So, but with Christian's form, which is excellent right now, with Weston's form, which is excellent, and then we need that one more piece. Well, Musa as well, but the one more piece Tyler Adams has missed. He's missed with Bournemouth. He's missed with the national team, and a lot off the field too, because you know how important, Lex, the camaraderie and when
He's a leader, yeah.
he is, and he was a leader when he was 16, 17, coming into the older age groups with the youth teams. He was a leader with the older guys. You could see it. It just within 10 minutes of a first training session he came in with me. You're like, oh, okay. And so we need all of our guys to be fit, to do well. We don't have the luxury like some countries do of having 23 top Champions League level players.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.